My son told me to sell my wedding ring. That is how this starts. Not with romance, not with a kiss in the rain, not with some speech about love lasting forever. It starts at my kitchen table, with an overdue mortgage notice sitting between the salt shaker and a jar of peanut butter, and my son looking at me like I'm a broken appliance. "Sell your ring, Dad. We need money for the mortgage," he said. He said it calm, the way you tell someone their brake light is out. Tyler is 17. He's got that almost man thing going, shoulders broad but his face still soft at the edges, like the world hasn't fully sanded him yet. He had his backpack on because he was already late for school, and his left knee was bouncing like a drumstick on a snare. He only bounces his knee when he's scared. Lila sat across from me on her phone, pretending to scroll email, not looking up. Her hair was still wet from the shower, and she smelled like somebody else's soap. Citrus, a little mint, not the stuff we keep in our bathroom. "We're 3 payments behind, Dan," she said, without looking at me. "It's not a suggestion. We either get current or we get out." I looked at the paper. The red block letters. Notice of intent to accelerate. There's nice language under that, legal and stiff, but all it means is pay or leave. It's funny what you remember in those moments. Not big life flashes, tiny details. The fridge made a low rattling sound like it was chewing ice, even though the ice maker's been busted for 2 years. The kitchen light over the sink had that cheap hum because one of the bulbs is going. Tyler's hoodie sleeve had a little grease stain near the cuff from helping me on a job. I remember thinking, I'll fix the light, I'll clean the grease, I'll fix everything, that's what I do. That's what I've always done. "Ty," I said, "it's not that simple." "It is that simple," he shot back. "That ring is gold, right? Pawn it. Whatever. People do that." He said, "People do that," like we were some normal family doing normal broke people things, like selling your wedding ring is in the same bucket as switching to generic cereal. Lila finally looked up. Not at me, at Tyler. "Thank you," she told him, like he'd just carried in groceries. "At least somebody in this house is being realistic." I sat there, my own kitchen, my own table, my own name on the mortgage, and somehow I'm already the outsider. You always think you'll know the exact moment you snap. You think it'll feel like a door slamming. It doesn't. It feels like somebody quietly sliding a drawer closed and saying that's enough out of you. I heard that drawer close in my head. "Fine," I said. "I'll sell it tomorrow." Tyler blinked. He didn't think I'd say yes that fast. He swallowed and looked guilty for the first time. Good kid. Heart still works. "Really?" he asked small. "Yeah," I said. "Your mum says we're behind. We're behind. I'll take care of it tomorrow." Lila still had her phone in her hand. She let out this tight little sigh through her nose, relief mixed with something that almost sounded like annoyance. She said, "Thank you, Dan." But what I heard was, "Finally." I turned the ring with my thumb. You do that when you're married long enough. You don't even know you're doing it. Spin, tap, spin. It's a habit like clearing your throat. The ring felt tighter than usual. Tyler grabbed his backpack, kissed his mother on the cheek, and mumbled that he'd be home after practice. He walked past me without touching me. That was new. When the door shut, the kitchen felt like the aftermath of a small fire. Lila stood up. She didn't come around and kiss me. She didn't say anything sweet like, "I know this is hard, babe. We'll get through it." She straightened the already straight pile of mail and said, "Call me when you're done there. I might have someone who'll give a decent price so you don't get ripped off." "There," I said. "Where's there?" "A coffee bar in the district," she said. "It's not a chain. Don't freak out. It's one of those places with the plants and weird chairs. He said he can meet you at 11. I said, He's a friend of a client from the clinic," she said. "He flips jewelry. It's not shady, he's legit. Just try not to act weird, okay? I already told him you're stressed." "Oh, did you?" I said. She didn't hear the tone. Or she pretended not to. That was Lila's gift, looking right past what she didn't like. Early in our marriage, I thought that was optimism. Later, I understood it's survival. She can step around truth like it's a puddle and keep her shoes clean. Dan, she said in that patient voice, don't make this harder than it has to be. Then she grabbed her purse and keys and walked out, leaving her empty coffee mug right next to the sink, not in it. That sounds like a petty thing to notice. Trust me, the little disrespect piles up like sand in a gear. One day the motor burns. The front door closed. I sat there a while longer, listening to the house breathe. Old baseboard heat ticking. Wind sneaking under the back door. No voices. I looked at the mortgage notice again. 3rd month behind. I knew that. I also knew last month's electric bill bounced, and I had to call and sweet-talk my way out of a shut-off. We weren't just behind. We were already sliding. That's life when you're your own boss and clients forget to pay on time. I'm a maintenance contractor. Landlords call me when their units leak, when a breaker pops, when some tenant's garbage disposal eats a fork. It's not glamorous, but I know every basement and crawl space in a 10-mile radius. I know who's a slumlord and who's decent. I know which apartment doors don't latch right. I know which alley cams are fake. I know where the steam lines run under the old mill lots. And now I'm supposed to hand over my ring, like a burnt offering, so Lila can keep pretending she's embarrassed by me instead of scared of her own choices. Sell your ring, Dad. I rubbed my face and laughed. It sounded wrong in the empty kitchen. I got up, rinsed her mug, and put it in the dishwasher. Because of course I did, of course. As the story unfolds, hit the hype button, like, subscribe, and write in the comments. Would you forgive them or walk away? Next day, I arrived with the buyer. That was the plan anyway. 11 a.m., some artsy coffee and wine joint in the warehouse district, where all the brick mills got turned into rehabbed lofts no normal person can afford. I hate those places. Every table looks borrowed from a dentist waiting room. Men in tight t-shirts with laptops talk like they're on stage. Everybody drinks out of jars. You order a plain coffee, and they act like you just insulted their grandmother. But a man sells his ring for his family, right? That's the story. Good husband, responsible father. You know what I told myself in the truck on the way over? I told myself this is what a provider does when things get rough. You bleed a little so the house doesn't. Parking's a joke in that district. I had to wedge my old F-150 between a Tesla and some European SUV that cost more than my house is worth on paper. My door made a metal sigh when I pushed it open. I heard somebody mutter, "Nice truck," in that voice rich guys use when they mean the opposite. I smiled and kept walking. The air smelled like rain and fryer grease. Winter trying to push in early. Cold enough you could see your breath if you blew out slow. Inside, the place was just what I pictured. Exposed brick, hanging plants, 2 candles burning at 11 a.m. Because, of course, people with haircuts that cost more than my boots. The girl behind the counter had a tiny gold hoop in her nose and called me babe twice in under a minute. I kind of liked her for that. "Can I help you, babe?" she said. "I'm meeting someone," I said. "Guy buying jewelry." Her eyebrows did a little hop. "Oh, okay, you must be Dan." "Yeah," I said, and my stomach went tight. "He here?" She pointed with her chin toward the back corner. I turned. It wasn't a jeweler. It was him. You've seen a guy like Evan Price before. Every city has 10 of him. Ex-college athlete who never made it to the show, so now he builds a brand out of post-game muscles and whitened teeth. Hat backwards, perfect stubble. Watch that costs real money, but he calls it his daily. Lean, coiled, gym hard. He smiles like your problems are adorable. He also had keys on the table. Big fob, high-end SUV brand, shiny, facing out. He stood up when I got close. Put his hand out like we were friends already. "Dan," he said, all warm. "Man, good to meet you. Sit. Seriously, sit." I looked at his hand and then at his face. "You're not a jeweler," I said. He laughed like I'd told a great joke. No, I'm not. Sorry, I should have said. I'm Evan. I work with Lila. He said her name casual. Lila, not your wife, not Mrs. Cole. Lila. Rolled it like candy in his mouth. I didn't sit. My wife said she lined up a buyer, I said. Yeah, he said, nodding like a motivational speaker. So, listen. She told me what's going on, all right? She told me about the house and all that pressure. Man, I get it. I really do. I almost lost my apartment last year when business dipped. You fall behind a couple payments. The bank acts like you're robbing them at gunpoint. It's insane. He leaned back, spreading his arms on the chair back, like we were bros comparing scars. His shirt stretched across his chest on purpose. The watch winked in the light. I told her I'd help, he said. I let that sit a second. You told her you'd help, I said. Yeah, he said. Whatever you guys need to get back on your feet, we all got to be there for each other, you know? Especially Tyler. Kid doesn't need that stress. That's when I knew what this was. This wasn't about the ring. This was outreach. This was charity from the new boyfriend to the old husband. This was him stepping in like a stepdad audition tape. He was offering to help, to be the guy who saves the house. So later, when Lila lets me go, she and Tyler can talk about how Evan carried them through a hard time. She can say I couldn't provide, but Evan could. They're already telling it that way, I thought. I don't take charity, I said. It's not charity, man, he said, all smooth. It's love. It's support. We're all grown-ups here. Lila said you're a proud guy, but there's no shame. You did your best. Sometimes life just gets too heavy for one person to carry. My jaw clicked. Did she? I said. Totally, he said. And trust me, I respect the hell out of you. She said that too. She said you're stubborn, but you've always been good to Tyler. Like, you show up, you care. That's huge these days. Most dads check out. You're still in it. That's awesome. He had that talent some men have. He insulted me and complimented me in the same breath, like I'm supposed to swallow the insult to taste the compliment. Good dog. Here's a biscuit. How long you been sleeping with my wife? I asked. That knocked the smile half an inch off center. Not all the way, just enough to show the seam. Okay, he said softly, lifting both palms like I had a gun out. I get it. You're upset. Totally fair. Totally fair. But let's not make this... How long? I said again. He licked his teeth, looked down at the table, did a little shrug. A while, he said. It just happened, man. You know how that is. People connect. Uh-huh, I said. We didn't mean for anybody to get hurt, he said. I laughed. That line work on women. He frowned. Excuse me. You practice that in the mirror? I asked. You stand there in your rental bathroom and tell yourself, we didn't mean for anybody to get hurt. And you believe it because your own reflection nods back at you. Color touched his neck. All right, he said. So, you're mad. I get you're mad. I'd be mad too. But here's where I'm at, Dan, and I hope you can hear this like a man and not like some... I leaned in. Hey, I said, very soft. I hear you fine, sport. I hear that you think this is the part where you offer to pay my mortgage like I'm your sad uncle. I hear that you think you walk in here with your little watch and your little car keys, and you get to rewrite my life for my wife and my son. I hear you telling yourself you're saving them from me. He swallowed. And I hear you calling me stubborn, like it's a disease you get from tap water, I said. He sat back slow, hands still up. He looked around, checking if anyone was paying attention. Nobody was. Rich people in this town don't look at men who dress like me unless we leak on the furniture. It's not like that, he said. It's exactly like that, I said. We stayed like that 10 seconds. It felt like a whole minute. He broke first. Look, he said, voice going quiet and confidential. Lila doesn't feel safe in that house anymore. There it was. I nodded. Uh-huh. She said you get worked up, he said. Loud, unpredictable. She doesn't want Tyler in the middle of that. There's a trick therapists use where they say, I hear you saying, and then repeat your words back to you so you feel seen. This kid was doing the Walmart version of that trick, except with my marriage. I hear you saying he's unstable, babe. I hear you saying he's dangerous. Wow, you're so brave. She tell you I hit her? I asked. He blinked. What? No, she didn't say that. I would have. She tell you I even raised a hand? I asked. She said you punched the wall by her head last month, he said. There it was. The air in my chest went electric. I didn't punch a wall, I said. I tripped on the stupid laundry basket you left in the hall and put my hand out so I wouldn't face plant. My palm hit drywall. She was across the room at the time. But sure, sounds cooler your way. Keep that version. He stared at me. It was the first time he looked unsure. You can't scare her like that, man, he said, but his voice had less air in it. I leaned back and smiled big. The friendly kind. The kind that shows all your calm, like a shark fin. You think I'm scary? I asked. He opened his mouth. Closed it. Nah, I said. Not yet. I stood up. We're done here, I said. Dan, wait, he said, standing too. He put a hand out like he was about to touch my arm. I looked at his hand and he pulled it back fast. Let's just talk, like men. We are talking like men, I said. You're just not used to a man talking back. So I left. I walked out past the barista with the gold hoop. She had that look like she wanted drama but didn't want to get in trouble. She mouthed, You okay, babe? I nodded. Out on the sidewalk, the air felt colder. The sky hung low and dirty. The street smelled like wet brick. I didn't get 3 steps before I heard his voice behind me. Dan, he called, jogging a little to catch up, like we were in a movie where the guy chases the girl to say one more thing before she gets on the plane. Dan, hey, come on, don't be like this. I'm trying to help you. I'm trying to help all of you. I turned and watched him come toward me. Easy stride, confident, hands out, smiling again. The smile said, Relax, bro. I'm not your enemy. His eyes said, I'm already in your house. You ever have a moment when you know you're not the old you anymore? People talk about midlife crisis like it's buying a motorcycle. It's not. It's the instant you realize you've been a background character in your own story and you're done with that contract. That was my moment. I stuck my hand out. He looked surprised, but he took it. His grip was firm. He expected mine to be weaker than his. He was wrong. I squeeze fittings for a living. My hands are not pretty, but they're strong in that quiet, permanent way. Thanks for meeting me, I said, nice and polite. His shoulders dropped in relief. Yeah, of course, man, of course. I leaned in close enough for him to smell the cheap coffee on my breath. Listen to me, Evan, I said. You're going to drown before I do. He blinked. What? He said. You're going to drown, I said again, as soft as a bedtime story. Before I do. I let his hand go. He laughed like he didn't understand, like it was a joke. I smiled back. Then I turned, walked to my truck, and drove home to start the work. You hear about guys snapping and doing something stupid. Burn the car, smash the phone, swing first. You hear those stories because they're loud and messy and cops get to write them up and judges get to make speeches. That's not what I did. I went home, I made a sandwich, I sat at the table where my son had told me to sell my ring, and I opened our shared bank app. We'd always had one main checking for bills, one little savings for emergencies that never got past $3,000 because life. Lila also had her own personal checking for her funny money. Nail salon, girls' nights, Uber rides, etc. I never fought her on that. Her money, her little freedom. I told myself a woman should have her own. Now I saw how stupid that was. In the shared savings, we had $1,742.11. Not much, but more than zero. I moved it. Before anybody chokes on that, my name is on that account. It's joint. Me taking it isn't theft. It's ugly, but it's legal. Married people do it every day in this country when they see a divorce storm coming. You pull the cash before the other person drains it for a weekend with their gym boyfriend. I transferred the whole $1,342.11 to a cashier's check in my name at the credit union down on Mill Street. They know me there. I fixed their busted toilet tank and their back door hinge. The manager, a lady named Jeannie with pink glasses, said, "You finally doing that deck?" I said, "Something like that." She didn't ask more. Nobody with brains asks questions when a man in my mood requests a cashier's check. This matters, so follow me. When you're broke, autopay is a loaded gun pointed at your own foot. Money goes out on schedule even if money didn't come in on schedule, and then you get hit twice, once for the bill, once for the overdraft fee. Lila loved autopay because she said it felt responsible. I hated it because I live in the real world of net 30 lies and clients who mail the check Monday for 8 straight Mondays. I shut off autopay for electric, gas, and water. I left the internet because Tyler needs it for school. I wrote down the due dates. I was not trying to get our lights cut. I was doing the opposite. I was putting those bills on my watch, not hers, so nothing accidentally got missed while she was sleeping at Mr. SUV's place, and then she could cry to Tyler that I let the heat get shut off. You think I'm paranoid? I know. I used to think that too. Then I saw the way she looked at me across that table like I was already halfway out the door. After the money, I went hunting for truth. Not spyware, not hacking. I'm not that guy. I don't know code. I barely know how to reset a router. But married people leave trails wider than truck ruts. You just have to respect them enough to look. First, mileage. Lila told me last week she was running to Target for detergent and wine, and then maybe hitting the gym with Mara, and "I'll be home by 9, don't wait up." That's normal wife talk. You hear that for years. You don't question it. But if you write down her odometer reading when she leaves and then check it when she comes back, you get math. Simple 4th grade math. Target and back is 6 miles. Her Pilates place is 4 miles round trip. Mara's apartment, 3. Call it 15 total if you add in some wandering. That night, she put 57 miles on the car. 57 miles doesn't happen by accident in a town where end-to-end is 11. Second, phone logs. We're on a family plan that still comes in my email because I'm the idiot who set it up 12 years ago. You'd be amazed what you can learn from a phone bill if you stop scrolling past it. There's a number she calls every day at lunch. There's a number that calls her after 10 p.m. There's a number she talks to for 13 minutes at 1:12 a.m. on a Tuesday. While I was asleep in the bed, she claims she can't stand anymore. Guess whose number that is? Third, calendar. Lila uses her phone calendar like it's her personal assistant. She's proud of it. Color-coded blocks for staff meeting and Mara brunch and Tyler ortho. She also put little padlock icons on 3 blocks last month on Thursdays, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. The label on those was Growth Workshop. You know where you find out more about Growth Workshop? The trash, not our kitchen trash. I'm not a raccoon, digital trash. She deletes texts, sure, but she doesn't delete screenshots of her own selfies. And she damn sure doesn't delete the photos her friend Mara sends bragging about outfits. Do you know what I found in one of those? A mirror selfie of Lila in Evan's rental apartment bathroom. How do I know it's his? Because I saw the same stupid fake marble counter on his Instagram once when he posted Late Grind Never Stops with a shirtless mirror shot. Same towel, same stupid scented candle with a quote on the label about greatness. Do you know what else I found? A text from Mara that said, "You can't keep doing Growth Workshop at his place. Ty is going to catch on. Kick Dan out already and stop torturing yourself. Kick Dan out already. Out of my own house." That hit me harder than the idea she was sleeping with Evan. You want to know the worst part? I'm going to tell you. The worst part wasn't that my wife was sleeping with a younger guy with a better jawline. It wasn't that she was lying about Pilates. It wasn't even that she was trying to rewrite me as dangerous so she'd look brave leaving. It was that she had already told my son a story where I was the problem, where I was the reason we were broke, where she was saving him from me. My heart didn't drop. My heart turned to stone and dropped through the floor and kept going until it hit the pipes. I sat there with her phone in my hand, and my hands were shaking. Not rage shaking, cold shaking. The way you shake after you almost get hit by a truck and you realize how close it was. The whole time, a little voice in the back of my head kept saying, 3 payments behind. 3, you let it get there. That voice sounded like my father. My father worked 31 years in a plant that doesn't exist now. He used to say, let it get there, like it was a crime, like bills were a set of bricks, and a real man kept them stacked neat. Okay, I said to the empty kitchen. Okay, Lila. Okay, Evan. I put her phone back exactly where I'd found it. Then I picked up my tool bag. Here's what people don't understand about men like me. They think because I don't sit in an office, I'm stupid. They think because I don't wear a badge or a tie, I don't know anything except hammers and cuss words. They forget who built their buildings. They forget who fixes them when they break. Lila works admin at a boutique physical therapy clinic 2 blocks off downtown. Patel Sports and Recovery. Frosted glass, fake bamboo in the lobby, little fountain that makes you feel like you're in a dentist's dream of Bali. You walk in there and they act like you're a pro athlete, even if you're just some 40-year-old dad who hurt his back shoveling. I've done work there before. Patel is cheap. He'll call me instead of a real vendor because I'm off the books and he can pay me cash out of petty. Last month I swapped out a leaking sink valve in exam room 3 and reset the breaker for the Whirlpool heater. That's his problem. He wants country club vibes, but he runs it like a high school gym. I texted Dr. Patel at 4:30 that afternoon. Dan, heard you got a drip by the back door again. You want me to swing by after you close, so your fancy floor doesn't warp? Patel, can you be here 6? We got athletes till 5:45. You see the trick? He invited me in. That's important. Invitation matters. Invitation means I'm not trespassing. Invitation means when I take out my phone later and open the camera app, I'm just a contractor, documenting what I'm fixing in case I need to tell him to replace something. I showed up at 5:55 in my work jacket and boots, tool bag over my shoulder. The clinic smells like eucalyptus oil and rubber mats and money. Patel was out front talking to a high school catcher with a knee brace and the kid's mom. Lila wasn't at the front desk. Guess who was in the therapy bay working one-on-one with a 20-something guy doing band work on a shoulder? Evan. He had on tight black joggers and a branded polo with his name embroidered on the chest. Not Patel Sports and Recovery. His own thing. PR performance. Evan loves branding himself so much he might as well tattoo his handle on his forehead. He was counting reps for the kid like a coach. There you go. Nice. Keep that elbow tucked. Feel that fire? That's you getting better. That's you leveling up, my man. The kid looked like he'd pay Evan cash just to keep talking to him like that. Here's the part that's important later. That session? That session was happening in the clinic's therapy space, using the clinic's gear on clinic time. But the kid paid Evan directly over Venmo. I watched it. I didn't have to hack anything. Evan literally said, just send to PR performance, same as before. Patel either didn't know or pretended not to know. Either way, if something went wrong, if that kid popped his shoulder right then, for example, insurance would have a field day. Patel would be on the hook, not Evan. I walked past, head down, like I was there to fix the leak and nothing else. Evan clocked me and did a double take. His smile glitched. Hey, he called, a little too loud. What's up, Dan? You good, man? Patel turned at that. Ah, Patel said. Dan, back door. We got water under the frame. Again, I swear this building wants to rot. I'll take a look, I said. Here's the other thing about being invisible. People talk around you like you're drywall. While I'm in the back hallway crouched near the emergency exit, pretending to check the door sweep and the sill pan for moisture. I can hear everything in the staff office because that door never shuts right unless you slam it. Lila was in there with Mara. "He's getting worse," Lila said. Her voice had that tight shake she uses when she's building a case. "Ty told him to sell his ring this morning, and he actually said yes. He actually said he'd do it. I don't even recognize him anymore. He just sat there like a zombie." "Okay, but that's good though," Mara said. "That means he's giving up, babe. That's what you wanted. You said you can't keep doing that house." "I know," Lila said. "God, I know. But he's scaring me. He's quiet, you know? He doesn't yell. He just looks at me. I don't like that look. And Ty's stuck in the middle. Evan says I should just tell Dan to leave and change the locks. Just get it over with." Mara snorted. Yeah. Ev also says he can cover your bills for a while. I bet he does." "Don't be like that," Lila said. "He's trying." "Trying to get you full-time," Mara said, laughing. "Trying to not have to share you with your broke husband." "I'm serious," Lila snapped. "He said he'd help with the mortgage. He said he'd help Ty. He's already basically doing it. You know Dan is 3 months behind, right? We could lose the house any day. Ty shouldn't have to live like that. Evan said we deserve better." I pressed my thumb so hard under the door trim I felt splinters bite skin. Mara sucked air the way women do when gossip tastes sweet. "Oh my God. So when are you moving in with Evan for real? Like, when are you telling Dan, hey, you're scary and this is toxic and he needs to go? I mean, you can't drag this out forever. It's not fair to Evan." "Not fair to Evan." I had to breathe slow. You know what's funny? I wasn't even mad in that second. Something else slid in where anger used to live. Something colder, something that watches instead of shouts. It hit me then, hallway crouched with my hand under the doorframe. They were writing me into a different story than the one I lived. In their story, I'm already gone. In their story, I'm a problem to be removed, like a moldy cabinet. In their story, Evan is the man of the house and I'm a sad chapter they close. You know what you do when somebody writes you out of your own life? You write back. I wiped my thumb on my jeans and pulled out my phone. I angled it and snapped 2 shots. Click, click. First shot, Evan in Patel's therapy bay, running a paid private session using Patel's gear. You can see the kid doing band work and you can see Evan's stupid embroidered polo. You can also see the clinic logo on the wall. Nice and clear. That's Exhibit A in any insurance fight. Second shot, the whiteboard by the reception desk. On that whiteboard, Lila had scribbled in pink marker, "Late hours tonight, covering with Evan, don't wait up," with a heart. She thinks that's cute coworker energy. An HR person would call that admission of an inappropriate relationship on company property after hours. Patel, if he had a brain, would call it grounds to fire them both for cause. I texted those pictures to an anonymous Gmail I made 5 minutes earlier in the truck. Burner Handyman 001. Then I texted that Gmail from a new text app number to Patel's business line. "FYI," I typed, "your staff is running private, uninsured training sessions in your facility after hours. Also, looks like personal after-hours contact between your front desk and your freelancer. If someone gets hurt and an angry parent lawyers up, this lands on your head, not theirs. Thought you'd want to know. No blackmail, no demands, just a friendly little professional courtesy from the universe." Then I packed my tools and told Patel the leak was just condensation and he should think about sealing the doorframe before winter. He said, "How much I owe you?" I said, "Call it even." He smiled like he'd just gotten away with something. He had no idea he's the grenade, and I just pulled the pin. On my way out, Evan called to me, loud and fake friendly. "All good back there, Dan?" he said. "All good," I said. "Floor's solid. Wouldn't want anybody to slip." He grinned. Mara peeked past Lila, saw me, and went quiet real fast. Lila wouldn't look at me at all. That told me everything I needed to know. You don't beat people like Evan in a ring. You beat them in their reflection. Guys like him care about one thing: image. You hit that. they fold fast. That night I waited until Tyler was in his room and Lila was still at work late, which we both knew meant warming Evan's sheets. I stood in the dark kitchen and made 2 calls. First call was to the power company. "Hi," I said, putting on my nice voice. "Yeah, listen, this is Daniel Cole on Maple. I need to switch the primary contact on the electric to me only for now. Wife's going through some personal stuff, and I don't want her stressing. Yeah, I can verify. Account ending 442, last payment was the 18th, $87, card ending 0031. Yep, that's mine. Yeah, you can take her off notifications, that's fine. I just don't want her getting shut-off scare emails. I got it this month. You be polite with utility people. They've been screamed at all day. You talk to them like humans. They help you." She said, "Of course, sweetie. We'll put notes here that you're the pay contact." Sweetie, I love people who still talk like that. Second call was louder. I put my phone on speaker, set it on the counter, and pretended to rummage drawers so the sound would travel. Then I hit record on Tyler's little wireless speaker under the cereal shelf. He's always playing music through it, but the thing can record too. Never thought I'd use it like that. Ring. "Hey," I said when the call picked up. "Yeah, is this Evan's finance guy? The one who said he'd spot the next mortgage payment for us?" "Yeah, okay, cool. Just making sure that was real." "Because Lila said you told her you were going to help us cover, like the next month or 2, just to get us clear. I don't want any confusion on that. I appreciate it." "Yeah. Yup, I get pride, but pride doesn't keep a roof, right? So Friday's due date, you're covering that? Awesome. Appreciate you, man." "Tell Evan I said thanks. He really came through for the family." Then I hung up. Before you ask, there is no Evan finance guy. That was voicemail at one of those rent-to-own car places, put on speaker. But Tyler didn't know that. All he heard was me, sounding small, thanking Evan for saving the family. I know that sounds petty. It's not. You want to pull a teenage boy's loyalty off his mother's new boyfriend, you don't yell cheater. You hit pride. You make it sound like mom is letting some other dude pay dad's bills. You make it sound like dad is swallowing that. You make the kid feel the aftertaste of that humiliation. You flip the power dynamic inside his chest. It's ugly work. I never said I was the hero. Tyler came down 10 minutes later with his jaw tight. "What's going on?" he asked. I was at the sink washing 2 dishes we could have put in the dishwasher, because that's what you do when you're pretending nothing is wrong. "Nothing," I said. "I heard you," he said. "You're letting that guy pay our mortgage. Are you serious right now? You're just good with that." I dried my hands on a towel and leaned against the counter. I looked tired on purpose, but not pathetic. There's a difference. Men know it. Boys are still learning. "Evan offered," I said. "Your mom said yes. I'm just trying not to make it more awkward than it already is for you." Tyler's face went red. Good. The hook was in. "That's garbage," he said. "He can't just move in and start paying our house. This is our house." I let that sit a beat. "Is it?" I asked quietly. He blinked. "What?" he said. "Is it our house?" I asked. "I mean, your mom's at his place right now. She hasn't slept here in, 3 nights? 4? And she's got you telling me to pawn my wedding ring so we can fix bills she won't even sit down and open with me. So, I don't know whose house this is anymore." Tyler swallowed. "She said you were behind," he said. "I am behind," I said. "I'm behind because the clinic cut my hours in September when they brought in Mr. PR Performance to do off-book sessions and toss her rides home. But yeah, I'm behind. That's on me. I never said it wasn't. I'll fix it." He stared at me. He looked like Lila when he's angry. Same line in the jaw. "I don't need Evan paying for anything in this house," he said. "Good," I said. "Me neither." He nodded hard and went quiet. He was thinking. You could hear the gears grind. He said, "Mom didn't say it like that." "I bet," I said. Tyler didn't go back upstairs. He stayed in the kitchen with me, doing nothing. the way animals sit next to you when they're not sure if you're sick or just sad. We didn't talk more. We didn't have to. The important work was done. Lila came home after midnight. I heard her heels in the hall and smelled that citrus mint again. She thought we were both asleep. She tiptoed like a thief, which was funny because, technically, everything in that house still had my name on it. I lay there in the dark and listened to her move through what used to be our bedroom like a guest. Quiet zip of a bag, closet door, careful, bathroom light flick on, then off. She didn't shower. Of course not. Wouldn't want to leave evidence in my drain. She climbed into bed without touching me, back facing me. Phone face down on the nightstand, but not on silent. If he texted, she wanted to feel it buzz against her palm like a heartbeat. I stared at the ceiling. Mortgage is due Friday, I said. She flinched like I'd goosed her. God, Dan, she hissed. Don't start. It's 1 a.m. I'm not starting, I said. I'm telling you, I'll handle it. Silence. Then, thank you, she whispered. The way you thank a stranger for holding an elevator. I met your boyfriend today, I said. Her shoulders went rock solid. Excuse me, she said. In the coffee place, I said. The one with the plants. I went to meet your so-called buyer. You forgot to tell me the buyer was the guy you're sleeping with. Her breath came fast. You are unbelievable, she whispered. You show up at my job and you spy on me, and now you're stalking me in my personal time? You don't get to control who I talk to anymore, Dan. I'm not trying to control you, I said. I'm telling you, your boyfriend's not a jeweler. He's a clown in an embroidered polo and a leased SUV. You're jealous, she said, with this little laugh like that settled it. God, this is so pathetic. Do you even hear yourself right now? This is why I can't do this with you. This right here. I'm not jealous, I said. I'm taking inventory. What does that even mean? She snapped. It means I'm making a list, I said. She let out a stiff breath. Of what, Dan? Of all the ways I ruined your perfect life? Of all the things you think are yours, I said. Silence again, heavy this time. You're scaring me, she whispered. Right on cue. Tyler's door opened down the hall. Mom, he said, voice thick with sleep and anger. You good? Lila sat up fast and smoothed her hair. Instantly in performance mode. Yes, baby, she called back, all soft and wounded. Go back to sleep. Dad's just upset. He's not yelling, Tyler said. Lila didn't answer that. Tyler's door shut slow. She turned back to me in the dark and hissed, You don't drag him into this. You already did, I said. She swallowed. I could hear it. You are toxic, she whispered. You are toxic and I'm done. Do you hear me? I'm done being scared in my own home. You keep using that word scared, I said. You keep using it until you start to believe it. Say it enough times in front of Tyler and a cop and you're free, right? That's the plan. Kick me out. Tell everyone I'm unstable. Move Evan in as Savior version 2.0. Her voice got sharp. You are unbelievable. You twist everything. You make me into a monster so you can feel like a victim. You always do this. I'm not having this conversation. She rolled away, yanked the blanket up, and made this loud point of trying to fall asleep. I lay there, heart beating slow and heavy. They're building a case on me in my own house, I thought, so I'll build mine first. 2 nights later, I slapped Evan Price in a parking lot and keyed his car while he watched. Let me back up. By the next afternoon, Lila had a bag packed. Not a full move out, just a, I'm staying with a friend for a few days bag. Makeup, 3 outfits, chargers, her good boots, the perfume she only wears when she wants attention from someone new. I'm staying with Mara, she said, not meeting my eyes. You're staying with Evan, I said. You're such a child, she said. I'm staying with Mara until you calm down. Tyler doesn't need to be around this energy. This is toxic. Toxic. She loved that word like it was a coupon code. Tyler was sitting on the stairs, watching with anger in his mouth. You'll be here for rent on the 1st? I asked. Her chin went up. Excuse me? You heard me, I said. You want to split? Split, but you don't get to disappear and leave me holding your half of the mortgage like it's a party favor. You want to be independent? Be independent. She laughed in my face. Oh my God. You can't even pay it now. Evan said. She stopped too late. Tyler heard it. That's all that mattered. Wow, Tyler said from the stairs. Wow, Mom, seriously. You're letting that guy pay our house? Seriously? Color hit her throat. She looked up at him, eyes wide, hands up like she was soothing a toddler. Ty, she said, baby, it's not like that. It's exactly like that, he said, voice shaking. You said Dad's the one messing everything up, and you're just running around with some dude and letting him buy our house like you're a charity case. That's disgusting, Mom. Her mouth opened, then closed. You could see something crack in her right there. She was good at dressing shame in nice clothes, but her own kid calling her disgusting stripped it naked. I'm leaving, she said, grabbing the bag. I can't do this with both of you attacking me. Nobody's attacking you, I said. We're just taking inventory. Go to hell, she spat. The door slammed so hard, the picture frames on the hallway wall rattled. Tyler sat there, staring at the door, like it might open again and she'd come back and say, just kidding. Let's fix this. She didn't. He looked at me. I'm going to practice, he muttered. His voice was rough. He wiped his face with the heel of his hand like he was scratching an itch. Coach said if I'm late again, I'm benched Friday. Text me when you want to ride, I said. I'll come get you. Yeah, he said, staring at the floor. Okay. He left through the kitchen like always. I stood in the hallway alone, smelling the ghost of that citrus mint perfume, hearing the after rattle of the door slam. She wasn't going to Mara's. She never went to Mara's. Mara lives in a one-bedroom walk-up above a vape shop with a cat that hates everyone. Lila likes clean counters and big showers. Lila was going to Evan's rental in the warehouse district, the one with the keypad entry and the fake industrial light fixtures you see on Instagram. I've seen it. He posted stories from that place, like it's a condo in Miami. It's not. It's a staged Airbnb that he pretends is his permanent pad. Men like Evan love pretending. I waited. I didn't follow her right away like some jealous sitcom husband. I gave it 2 hours. Enough time for them to get comfortable. Enough time for him to feel safe. Then I drove. Rain had started again, cold and thin, needling down from a sky the color of old dishwater. The streets in the district shine at night after a rain. Every brick wall looks dramatic under those big old warehouse lamps they left up for atmosphere. You could film music videos down there for free. I found his SUV first. Of course I did. He drives one of those high-end white beasts with the blackout trim, the kind that eats gas like a dragon and still gets called eco-hybrid in the ad. You know the type. Hood angled like a jaw, windows tinted darker than the law in some states. Payment probably north of $1,000 a month. Guys like Evan call that an investment in the brand. I parked across the lot and waited with my lights off. Let the wipers go every few seconds. Watch the front entrance. He came out alone. No jacket, because guys like that think they're weatherproof. Just a tight long sleeve and joggers and sneakers that probably cost what I spend on groceries in a week. Keys swinging in his hand like a bell. Phone pressed between his shoulder and cheek. Yeah, babe, he was saying, all easy. No, it's fine. I just gotta go grab food. Want Chipotle or you being all clean tonight? Uh-huh. No, you're perfect. Stop. You're perfect. Hey, guess what? Ty went off on her. Yeah, said she was disgusting. Kids got teeth. I told you I'd fix it. I told you I'd handle it. He laughed. My vision went red hot, then cold. I got out of my truck and started walking. He didn't see me at first. He hit the unlock on the SUV and the lights blinked. He popped the driver's door, still smiling into the phone, so sure of his little world. Hey, I'll call you back, he said, and slid the phone into his pocket, because now he saw me. His smile tried to hold. It cracked. Oh, he said. Hey, Dan, right? You good, man? Step away from the car, I said. He looked down at the keys in his hand, then back up at me, like he was considering his options. He let out a tiny laugh through his nose. Come on, he said, grinning, hands up again like a ref had just blown a whistle. Let's not do this, all right? We're not in high school. We're adults. I'm not trying to fight you in a parking lot like some Netflix special. This is dumb. Step away from the car, I said again. He shook his head and took 2 steps back, arms still wide, palms out. He was talking, trying to fill the air. Listen, man, he said. I get it. You're mad, totally valid. I'm not judging, but you can't just show up where I live and act crazy. That's harassment. I'll call, whoever. You'll call whoever, I said. Yeah, he said, nodding big. Yeah, like cops or whatever. I'm serious right now. I'm trying to be cool, but you're scaring me, man. You're giving me real unstable energy and I don't... I slapped him. Open hand. Hard. Right across that perfect mouth. It made a sound like a dropped steak. He stumbled sideways and caught himself on the SUV door. Eyes wide. Shocked. You want to know why I slapped him and not punched him? A slap is not assault in the way a punch is, in a lot of people's heads. A slap is humiliation. A slap says you're not a rival, you're a misbehaving kid. A slap looks bad on video for the guy who got slapped. And trust me, if he called cops, that detail would matter to everybody listening. He'd sound like a guy who lost an argument, not a victim of a beatdown. Also, a slap hurts like fire. He put a hand to his cheek. What the... You listen to me, I said. My voice sounded calm. I surprised myself. You listen with your whole face, because I'm not saying this twice. You ever come near my kid again, you're done. You ever talk about my kid again, you're done. You ever tell my wife, who is still, in case you forgot, legally married to me and living in a house with my name on the mortgage, that I'm unstable, you're done. He blinked fast. Rain slicked his hair to his forehead. You can't talk to me like that, he said, but it came out thin. I'm talking right now, I said. You hearing me fine? You're insane, he said. You can't just hit me and think this is okay. I'm calling the cops. I'm legit calling the cops. You're going to jail, dude. You're done. You just... Call them, I said and smiled. Call them and tell them what we're arguing about. Tell them you're sleeping with a married woman in a clinic you don't work for, charging high school kids cash for off-book rehab sessions in a medical facility that could lose its insurance. Tell them you're offering to pay a mortgage so you can slide into a house that isn't yours. Please, call them. I'll wait. His mouth opened, closed. Yeah, I said. He took a breath, like he was about to say something smart. I didn't give him the space. I leaned over, nice and slow, like I was admiring his car. My keys were in my hand. I dragged them down the driver's side door, from headlight to taillight in one long, slow scrape. White paint curled up like potato peels. The sound was beautiful. Hey, he screamed, lurching forward. Hey, what the hell, man? Are you serious right now? That's a lease. Are you insane? He moved like he was going to grab me. I stepped sideways. He slipped on the wet asphalt and went down hard on one knee, then both hands. Palms slapped the ground. A little grunt of pain popped out of him, high and shocked. He looked up at me from there, stunned and mad and embarrassed, like a dog that just ran into a sliding glass door. I crouched next to him, not touching, just close. You keep thinking this is a game, I said, soft and steady. You think you're the hero in some story where you roll up and save a sad woman from her mean broke husband and the kid falls in love with you and everybody claps. You wrote that story in your head and you've been acting it out like it's already canon. He swallowed. Rain ran down his cheek and into his mouth. I am not in your story, I said. Do you understand me? I am not in your story. You are in mine. He stared at me. He didn't blink. You're going to drown before I do, I whispered. Then I stood up, pocketed my keys, and walked back to my truck. "Do it," I called over my shoulder. "File paperwork. I love paperwork. We can talk about how you spend your nights in my wife's clinic after hours. Patel's gonna love that conversation." That shut him up. I got in the truck, shut the door, and sat there, with my hands shaking so bad I had to put them in my armpits to get them to stop. Adrenaline is funny. In the moment you feel like a god. After you feel like you're going to puke and cry at the same time. My heart hammered my ribs hard enough to hurt. I watched him in the mirror. He was on his knees in the wet parking lot next to his scratched SUV, phone in his hand, babbling into it. He looked small for the first time. I didn't stay to see if he called cops. I knew he wouldn't. He couldn't risk that spotlight. I drove. My whole body buzzed. By the time I got home, my hands stopped shaking, and something colder had replaced the buzz. That cold thing said, "You're winning." The next day felt like the air before a thunderstorm. Heavy. Waiting. Tyler didn't say much at breakfast. He was watching me like he was studying tape. Lila didn't come home at all. She sent a text at 7:12 a.m. that said, "Staying with Mara a couple days. Please don't make this weird for Tyler. We'll talk like adults when you're calmer." Calmer. I made Tyler eggs and toast and packed him a lunch like nothing had changed because that's what you do for a kid. You keep his morning boring. On my way back from dropping him at school, because she took her car and left me the truck, but she also forgot to leave him lunch money. I swung by Patel's clinic, not to talk to Patel, to watch. Humans tell you everything if you give them a minute in a lobby. At 8:15 a.m. sharp, Patel came in with a face like he'd just bitten a lemon. He walked fast. He didn't say good morning to the receptionist. He went straight to the back. At 8:20, Lila came in through the side door with her hair in a tight bun and sunglasses on even though it was cloudy. She walked like she was walking into court. At 8:22, Evan came in the front like he owned the place, smile already loaded, hand up for high fives. He did that my people thing guys like him do where they try to hug everybody like a youth pastor. The receptionist did not hug him back. At 8:24, Patel's voice came down the hall. Not words, tone, sharp, clipped. You didn't need to hear the words to hear the meaning. What is this? What are you doing? Do you realize the exposure? Are you insane? At 8:27, Evan came back out. No smile this time, jaw tight. He walked fast, past me, head down, straight to his SUV. He looked like somebody had just taken his favorite toy. At 8:30, Lila came out. Eyes red, mascara smudged under one eye like bruising. She had her purse clutched to her chest like a life vest. Patel followed her to the door and shut it behind her. Didn't even give her a pat on the shoulder. Just shut the door. She stood there on the sidewalk in front of the clinic, alone, breathing too fast. Cars whistled past on Main. A bus hissed at the corner. She looked like a person who just found out the floor under their feet isn't there anymore. I stayed in my truck across the street and watched her sit in her car and cry. Before you feel bad for her, remember what she was crying about. She wasn't crying for us. She was crying because Patel had just threatened to fire her and Evan both for cause if they didn't fix this quietly. I guarantee that was the phrase. Men like Patel love fix this quietly. Getting fired for cause in a clinic like that, that's no reference. That's no unemployment benefits. That's the owner putting in writing, this person exposed me to liability. In her world, in her friend group, in her self-image, actions, consequences, inventory. My phone buzzed. New message. From Mara. Mara. Are you happy now, Dan? Lila's a wreck. Patel basically suspended her. Evan says you're stalking them and threatening people. I typed back. Patel suspended her because she was clocked in after hours doing personal stuff with a contractor in a liability environment. Tell Evan next time he wants to run a side hustle out of someone else's clinic, he should look up the phrase premises liability. Then I added, just because I couldn't help myself. And tell him the scratch on his lease looks good. Gives it character. 3 little dots popped up right away. Mara started to type, then stopped, then started, then stopped again, and then nothing. Which told me Mara had already called Lila, and Lila had already called Evan, and they were in panic mode, and nobody knew where the leak was coming from. I sat back in the truck seat and felt that cold calm settle deeper. Okay, I thought. Okay, we're almost there. That night, Lila came home. Not to reconcile. To take. She pulled up fast, tires on gravel. I heard the car door before I heard the front door. She came in like a storm, hair wild, face flushed, eyes glassy. Tyler was on the couch watching some highlight reel. He muted it when she walked in. Go upstairs, she told him. No, he said. The word hung in the air like a slap. Lila blinked. Tyler has never told her no like that in his life. Excuse me, she said. I'm staying, he said. This is between me and your father, she said through her teeth. Yeah, he said. Exactly. I almost smiled. I didn't. I sat in the armchair like a judge. Lila made this strangled noise and stormed down the hall to the bedroom. I heard drawers yanked open, closet doors banging, hangers clacking. She was grabbing her favorite stuff, her jackets, her good jeans, her nice boots. She came back through the hall with 3 armfuls and dumped them by the front door like she was staging a rescue operation. You can't just clean us out, I said, calm. Watch me, she snapped. No, I said. Actually, you can't. Legally, you cannot strip shared assets from a marital home in default while a mortgage is in arrears. It's called asset dissipation. Judges hate it. Looks like you're trying to hide property before a split. Looks bad on paper. Real bad. Her eyes flicked. She did not know that term. Asset dissipation. I hadn't either until yesterday, when I spent an hour in the truck in a parking lot reading divorce forums for construction guys while eating a gas station sandwich. You pick up words fast when your life depends on them. You think you're smart now, she hissed. No, I said. I think I'm tired. Put the stuff back. She laughed, loud, fake, brittle. You're going to tell me what to do with my clothes in my own house. You're going to physically stop me, in front of our son. There it was again, that setup, that bait. You don't get to play that card anymore, I said. She went red. You're abusive, she said, too loud. Louder than the space needed. Loud enough for neighbors, maybe. Tyler stood up off the couch so fast the remote bounced. Mom, he said, his voice shaking. Stop, you need to stop. She turned on him, hurt in her eyes like he'd just kicked her. Tyler, baby, I know you don't understand right now, but your father is not well, okay? He's not stable. He hit a wall 2 nights ago. He almost broke his hand, and I'm scared in this house. I'm serious. I don't feel safe. I can't be here. I can't sleep here. I'm sorry, baby. I'm sorry, but I... He didn't hit a wall, Tyler snapped. I heard you on the phone. You said that to make Evan feel like a hero. Stop saying stuff that isn't real. Her mouth opened. Nothing came out. This is toxic, she whispered finally, but now it sounded small. We all heard the car doors outside before we heard the knock. Fast footsteps. Then pounding on the front door, like a cop knock. Then actual cops. 2 officers. One older, grey at the temples, built like a refrigerator. One younger, eyes sharp, hand resting near his belt just because habit. Evening, the older one said. He had the same voice as every older cop in every mid-sized town in America. Tired, polite. We got a call about a possible domestic disturbance at this address. Loud voices, potential physical altercation. Lila gasped, like she'd just been yanked out of a rip current. Oh, thank God, she said, rushing toward them, like they'd been summoned by angels. Officer, yes, hi, thank you for coming. I am so scared right now. My husband is... We're fine, I said. The older cop held up a hand. Ma'am, let me talk first, yeah. Lila stepped back, blinking fast, working up tears. The younger cop looked at me. "Sir, you want to tell me what's going on tonight?" "We're having a property dispute during a separation," I said. "My wife is trying to remove shared assets from the marital home while our mortgage is in default. I told her that's a problem for both of us long term." She raised her voice. "I told her not to. Nobody touched anybody. Tyler's been sitting right here the whole time. You can ask him." Both cops looked at Tyler. "It's true," Tyler said. "Nobody touched anybody. Mom's just mad." Lila spun. "Tyler," she said, voice breaking. "Baby, don't—" "Mom," the older cop said. "Let's let him talk, okay?" Tyler swallowed and kept going. "Mom's saying Dad's unstable so she can leave and not look like the bad guy. She's going to stay at her boyfriend's apartment." The younger cop's eyebrow ticked up. "Boyfriend?" Lila's face went nuclear. "That is none of your business," she snapped. "That has nothing to do with any of this. I am telling you, I don't feel safe in this house." "Did he threaten you tonight, ma'am?" the older cop asked. "Did he put hands on you? Did he block you from leaving the home physically?" "No, but he—" she started. "Did he make physical threats of harm?" the younger one asked. "He said I can't take my clothes," she said. The two cops looked at each other. They both did this little almost smile, like they'd heard that one before. "Okay," the older cop said, turning back to me. "So here's the deal. We don't adjudicate property disputes. We're not divorce court. We're just here to make sure nobody's bleeding and nobody's getting shoved around. Sounds like voices got raised, folks got upset, but nobody's under arrest tonight." "All right." Lila stared at him. "You're just going to leave me here with him?" she said. "You said you were leaving," Tyler muttered. The younger cop cleared his throat. "Ma'am, you said you're going to a friend's. If you want to go to that friend's, you can grab personal hygiene items and medication and go to that friend's. If you want to take furniture or larger property, that becomes a civil matter, and you can schedule a time to do that with a neutral third party. Okay?" Neutral third party. I almost smiled. I loved that phrase. It felt like armor. Lila made a sound like a tea kettle about to scream. Tears finally hit her eyes. Real ones this time, I think. She wasn't crying about safety. She was crying because she just lost her main weapon, the "he's dangerous" card, in front of witnesses. Witnesses in uniform with body cams. "You have got to be kidding me," she whispered. "We'll leave you folks to cool off," the older cop said. "No more yelling tonight. Sound good?" He looked at me first. I nodded. Then he looked at Lila. She just stood there breathing like she'd run stairs. Finally she said, very quiet, "Fine." The cops left. Their car idled out front for another minute, then rolled away slow. Silence filled the living room like water. Lila turned to me with hate in her eyes so sharp it could cut rope. "This isn't over," she whispered. "I know," I said. She grabbed one bag, just one, small, and her makeup kit, toothbrush, deodorant, the little personal items the younger cop said she could take. She shot Tyler a look that said, "You betrayed me." He just stared at the floor. Then she walked out, the door closed. Tyler let out a breath so big his shoulders dropped 2 inches. "That was messed up," he said. "Yup," I said. He rubbed his face. "I'm so sick of this," he said. "Me too," I said. He looked up at me. His eyes were wet but hard. "Are you going to be okay?" he asked. I looked at him. My son, my kid, the same kid who told me yesterday to sell my wedding ring like it was a spare lawnmower, now looking at me like I'm the only steady ground left in a flood. That cold thing inside me shifted. "I'm better than okay," I said. "You wreck a man's car, you bruise his ego, you wreck his image, you end his career." Next morning, Mara went loud on social. Mara loves attention. She'd post a selfie from a funeral if the lighting was good. She'd been itching to get in this mess from the first time Lila whispered, "She's scared." So, of course, she got on Facebook at 9 a.m. and wrote one of those vague posts that isn't vague at all. "Some of you need to learn to keep your woman satisfied," she wrote. "If you don't step up at home, don't cry when she finds a real man who can handle her needs." Upgrade season is here, ladies. Classy. In her head, she's helping. In reality, she's pouring gasoline on a bonfire. I screenshotted it. Then I did something I knew would punch a hole in their little friend circle boat. I made my own post. Quick PSA, I wrote. Before anybody starts clapping for this so-called upgrade, please note, the real man in question, Evan Price of PR Performance Training, has been running private, uninsured rehab sessions with high school athletes in Patel Sports and Recovery without clinic authorization. After hours, using clinic equipment. He also spends those after hours touching the clinic's front desk staff in ways that would get every normal person fired. Liability is fun until someone's parent calls a lawyer. Then I attached 2 photos. Photo 1. Evan in Patel's therapy bay coaching a kid with a band, clinic logo in the background. You can see the kid's face turned away, so I'm not doxing some teenager. You can see Evan's polo with his brand. You can see enough to tell what's happening. Photo 2. The whiteboard shot with Lila's pink marker hearts and late hours tonight, covering with Evan, don't wait up. No captions under the photos. Let people do their own math. I hit post. I am not a social media guy. I don't chase likes. My Facebook has maybe 60 friends, and half of those are guys I helped move a couch once. But in a town like this, you don't need 1 million followers. You just need 10 loud ones. It took 11 minutes. First comment was from some mom I didn't recognize. Wait, is that my son's PT place? Second was from a dad I do know from Little League back when Tyler was 10. We pay Patel for legit therapy, not some side hustle. What the hell? Third was from a woman with 3 wine glasses in her profile pic. Lila is at it again, LMAO, wow. Mara commented, Dan, you are sick and obsessed. Let it go and stop stalking her. This is harassment and slander, and we will sue. I commented back, slander is spoken, libel is written, this is neither, this is documentation. Have a great day, Mara. It was petty, it was also accurate. You can't call it libel if it's true, and you can't call it harassment if I'm talking about my own legally married wife's behavior in a business I'm a vendor for. By lunch, I got 3 angry DMs from numbers I didn't know. One was all caps, lots of threats, and misspelled legal terms. One was from a burner account calling me jealous and saying I was ruining Lila's life because I couldn't satisfy a real woman. Cute. One was from Evan himself. You think this is funny? He wrote. You're done. You don't even know who you're messing with. You want to play dirty? Let's play dirty. I replied, porch lights on. He didn't answer. I left the porch light on.